art in A-level and then went on to do art foundation at art school. Really enjoyed that, really opened my eyes to this whole world of art and possibility, and really thinking outside the box and getting involved with essay writing and art theory. And from there went on to university and did fine art down in Falmouth in Cornwall. Stunning place to live and to work. Had a fantastic studio, great peers around me, tutors were fantastic. I came out of university and had the panic, like everyone does, of how I'm going to make a living, especially in the art industry. I know it's incredibly tough to make it. Artist called Rod McIntosh, had an internship with him at the end of August in 2017. It was a 2-week internship at his house and in his studio where we created work. I helped him prep for shows. I was there early every day and we just spent time together, and I was able to see how an artist lived, how an artist worked, how an artist earned a living from doing what he loved. So that was just fantastic and really opened my eyes and actually opened the doors to a few other opportunities that I had. On the back of that, I went and worked for an artist called Nadia Atura. I represented her at an art fair in Bristol, which was really inspirational. I met a lot of people and began networking. Yeah, it was really beneficial in that part, and from there I have since been a manager of a gallery in London. I'm currently the manager of Roy's Art Fair, which is a great job, really enjoy it, and I get to also show my artwork at the fair, which is fantastic. Art inspiration comes in many forms. I love photography, so my recent work is very heavily revolved and uses film photography. But I get inspiration from all sorts. My favourite thing in the whole world is music and poetry and films, and getting out and seeing and travelling in different cultures. So I gain inspiration from everything. It doesn't have to be artistic for me to get inspiration from my work. In fact, that's probably the opposite. Recently I've been heavily inspired by Gerhard Richter, and specifically his overpainted photograph series. Just love him as an artist and love his journey and his story and what he puts into his work. Andreas Gursky and Martin Parr are two of my sort of idols. I am just completely inspired by their ability to capture the everyday in life, and that's a huge inspiration in my recent series. So when I first started creating artwork, and sort of the beginning of being a self-employed artist and having that as my job and pushing, I realised that my art had to be a little bit more commercial, a little bit more readily available for the general public. I created a series called Cultural Landscapes. These are oil and acrylic paintings. They are all from my travels, so from the ages of 15 right through to 22, 23, I have done a fair amount of travelling, including sort of Africa, India, a lot of Europe, Iceland, and these paintings are hugely inspired by those times and those cultures and that scenery and landscape, and that kind of ever-changing landscape. These paintings I made into prints, limited edition prints, and they're available, and that's kind of my first series, if you like. Work has changed. I then realised that I was able to make any work that I loved, and I didn't have to feel like I had to make work that was commercial for it to sell. I did a show with my uni work and sold a few pieces, and realised that any art will sell as long as you're passionate about it, and that comes through because people buy into the artist and people buy your story rather than the artwork itself. They have to obviously be attracted to the artwork, but they buy into you. So that was quite a big learning curve for me, and since then I've just gone with what I really enjoy doing, and at the moment it's this photographic series which I've titled Poetics of the Everyday, and I've just really gone with it and really enjoyed creating something that's quite niche, something that's quite different. A lot of people say they sort of haven't seen this before, and I'm quite enjoying that energy. My film camera at the moment, it goes with me everywhere. Wherever I travel, even if it's in my hometown, the film camera is on me, because my work is all about capturing the mundane banality of life, that kind of boring, everyday lifestyle, I suppose. both scenery and people. It can be of anything. I just really enjoy that moment of capturing something in life that other people just walk by, that they don't really see, they don't really have an idea. It's just boring to them. It's the everyday, but there's something quite beautiful in that, and I want to sort of portray that in my work. My daily ritual, if I'm not working for Roy's, I am in my studio in this little box in my auntie's garden. I get up, do research. I'm straight on Instagram and on people's websites, and just really flooding my head with images and artists' work and writings and bios and blogs, and just trying to think of something that I can maybe use in that day. Music's on all the time. I don't think I can work without music on. It just really relaxes my head and makes me completely get absorbed in the art. It's kind of like a meditation, if you like. Yeah, so that's my daily ritual in terms of my mornings, and then I just work all through the day, go and get things framed, deliveries, yeah, and then concurrently working with Roy's, and yeah, kind of two go hand in hand, so yeah, it's good. My art process, it's very fluid. The way I make is very quick and very in the moment. I try not to think about something too much or be too precious about painting. The film photography is, once they're developed, those 6x4 photos, for me, in my eyes, although they can be reproduced, I treat them like they're a one-off. They are an item, they're an original piece, and it is all my photography. As soon as that's on the bed, it's about choosing my colour palette, so finding the right paints that, or mixing the correct paints that can pick out colours in that photo. And then it really is using palette knives, rollers, paintbrushes, sponges, my hands, spray paint, all different items. I just lose myself in the image, and sometimes it can be a 10-second moment of splashes of colour, and it's complete. It feels like it's done. Other times it can be hours where I keep going back to it, adding layers and really getting quite intricate with it. But the more precious I am with it, and the more I think about the artwork too much and what the outcome's going to be, then I don't feel I get the best results. Sometimes the best results are a in the moment explosion of colour, and I'm happy with the outcome. So it is very, very in the moment. Advice for artists at Roy's as an art fair, I would say the biggest thing is to be confident. For the 3.5 days, that's your area, that's your baby. You need to own that space, you need to live it, you need to be proud of what's like hung behind you. Chat to every single person, you know. I can say from experience, anyone walking through the door, gallerists, newspapers, journalists, they're not going to have signs around their neck with who they're working for. They are all in the same clothes as everyone else, so treat everyone the same. Never turn your back to the audience, and really just engage with everyone, because there have been so many stories in the past of artists that have chatted to a member of the public, and they've gone away and they've thought nothing of it, and then weeks later they've been contacted by a newspaper or a magazine or a gallery, and enjoyed their conversation, and the artist had no idea who they were.